We're back here on Extra Rounds. I'm TJ DeSantis. Pleased to be joined by one of the greatest illusionists of all time. He's the Mindfreak, Criss Angel. Chris, how are you?
What's up, TJ, man?
Not a whole lot, man. I've been looking forward to chatting with you because honestly, you're truly one of the greatest at your craft. And I'm curious, what is the last like 2-3 years been like for yourself? Because your show in Las Vegas is one of honestly like a staple. It's a must see. I saw it a few years back. And what has COVID been like for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. COVID was a trying time, for a guy that performs over 400 shows a year, and then everything, the world coming to a halt, and the strip closed, Vegas closed. It was very eerie, and I think it kind of put me in a position to either embrace it and try to make a negative situation positive, or allow it to defeat me. And that wasn't an option. So I let it work for me. I created Magic with the Stars during COVID, and it was something I was very passionate about. I started to try to sell it via Zoom to networks during COVID, developed it, and was very fortunate enough to sell the series, which already premiered last week, but it's on every Saturday night now, 8/7 Central, and it's an amazing show. But for me, I'm always working. I have a show tonight, Mindfreak at Planet Hollywood, which is the #1 best-selling show, not just magic show, but show in Vegas. It's the must-see show to see. And it's because I think, we really do things in the show that are immersive. There's a tornado in the show, a blizzard. There's elements that, you're going to see me fly and levitate in full light, unlike anything anybody's ever done. Actually it won the greatest illusion of all time by Vanish Magazine. So for me, it's always about, last night I just had Mark Anthony at the show. I just had Frank Mir, Randy Couture over there. So everybody always comes and sees Mindfreak because they grew up on it, but now you can see it live, and you can see these incredible things up close, over your head, behind you, in front of you. The audience is immersed in it.
That's awesome. You talk about Magic with the Stars. We're forced to evolve, right? As human beings, we need to make adaptations to the situations that we're in. And it sounds like you did just that. And from what I hear, I haven't seen the first episode yet of Magic with the Stars, but this is sort of putting magic back in front of the general public on television, on the CW. And I think that's important because when I was a kid, I grew up with all those David Copperfield specials on like NBC and stuff. I feel like we live in a time where magic does need to be put front and center because it's just honestly good entertainment, Chris.
Well, yeah, and life is death without change. So for me, it's always about evolving and transforming. And, back in the day, you had people like that, which is kind of old school. But now with Magic with the Stars, people are going to see magic performed 2022 style, 2023 style, with the latest, greatest technologies. And it's presented in a way that is a product of our times, has the sensibility of, rapid information coming at you. It has that sensibility with how the show's put together, the type of visuals that are in the show, the effects, and also the heart, giving people the opportunity to engage and see that, hey, these celebrities have vulnerabilities as well. They're human. And if they can overcome their fear of water or heights or anything else, hey, I can overcome my challenges and fears, whether it's of being scared of heights or of the dark or of a test or, trying to be a doctor. And I don't think I'm capable of doing it. It gives people hope. And I think now more than ever in our world, which is so divided, we need to come together with light, love, and positivity.
You mentioned some, UFC champions and Randy Couture and Frank Mir, and those guys are, alpha males among men.
Monster.
Working with them, were they at all afraid of anything? Did you have to help them overcome fears?
Well, it's interesting. I've known Frank and Randy for many years. I had the pleasure of getting punched in the stomach by both for one of the Houdini recreations I wanted to do, but with two athletes scientifically, genetically, are much faster, stronger than they were in the days of Houdini. And they both wowed me, and Chuck Liddell and Paige Van Zandt years ago. So they were more about not the fighting, because they had to bring a fight video game to life with an illusion twist, which obviously, the fighting part, down, check. The illusion part, they had to apply how they learn a new move or how they go into the octagon. And basically they have a process to learn what they're doing or to set themselves up mentally, physically, emotionally for what they do. And they applied that to magic, whether they were doing mentalism, whether, Frank Mir, wailed me in the face. It's hysterical. And he does punch and slap a lot harder than Will Smith, by the way. But he was amazing, and we just had a blast, and took the shot, and he made a rat appear, and Lonnie Love fell on her ass on top of me, and I fell on my ass, and Lonnie Love and I were both there. It was a category called shock magic, but it should have been called broken bone magic, because I thought my kneecap bursted. It was just,
oh my God.
but it was hysterical. And Randy, brought us back to his wrestling days and how he was able to learn through his coach different moves, and how he kind of took that information and made it applicable in his presentation of mentalism, which was brilliant. So both of them did an outstanding job. You're going to see both of them in a different light. You're going to see them kicking ass, of course, but you're also going to see a different side of them, the behind the scenes. How do they prepare? How do they practice? What are their concerns? And how do they execute it?
I love that. And, one thing, we've touched on is the whole idea of, the mind freak, but also when it comes to magic and executing magic, I think that there are some similarities between what you do and what mixed martial artists do, because a lot of it is mental, right? Like in jiu-jitsu, you want to try to get a guy's attention over here so you can set something up over here. And I would think someone like Frank Mir would probably take to that pretty well.
He loved it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be training with Frank. I've trained over the years on and off, actually with Ryan Couture as well, Randy's son. So
right.
I've had a love for mixed martial arts since I was a teenager, and have seen these similarities a lot, and have been friends with people, and still are, George St. Pierre, Anthony Pettis, a lot of these guys. And really understand that, I'm a very competitive spirit, and, my show is a very physical type of show. You have to be somewhat athletic to do it. And at 54, I train and I do what I have to do in order to perform at night. But Frank Mir and Randy Couture are really not only incredibly talented at what they do and committed to what they do, but they're incredible people. We hang out. We just went to a Scorpions concert together. We're like,
that's
we
awesome.
go to dinner. We hang out. We're like friends, and still, Randy is still working out. Still doing his stuff. Frank is really competitive and trains, and is getting through some injuries that he's dealing with, that he's getting over. But very competitive spirits, and the best of the best when they're the GOATs, man.
Right.
Geez, like these guys created the path for so many, whether in mixed martial arts or, in another field. They gave us the opportunity to see Randy, an older guy, fighting. Yet, you could be middle-aged and still accomplish things that people don't think you're capable of. And they just keep on proving things to us over and over and over, time and time again.
Magic with the Stars is on the CW. When you work with celebrities, Criss, I think that you might kind of go into like this unknown category, because I believe, in my opinion, you have to be open to the idea of wanting to understand and learn and perform and execute the magic. Have you ever worked with anybody that was just either they couldn't get it or they just weren't open to it?
No, it's interesting because I have a diverse, eclectic group of people that are on Magic with the Stars. We have comedians like Matt Walsh, Michael Ian Black, and then we have, Miles Brown from the show Blackish, which is a 17-year-old kid that was, an actor. And then we have Broadway stars like Corbin Bleu or Donny Osmond or Debbie Gibson, or, all of these, Tara Lipinski, a gold medalist for the USA team, and Johnny Weir. So all these type of disciplines, athletes, comedians, actors, what I try to do is I try to break it down very, very simple. And the way I do it is I take what their craft is and how they learn what they do. If they're an actor, they have to learn their script. Then they have to, kind of memorize that. Then they're looking at facial expressions, the character development portion of it. Then we add a layer into hitting marks, interacting with props and people. And we kind of build it, the foundation first, how the trick works. And then we build layers from that until they're comfortable and confident to present it. But so far, I cannot believe the rapid speed that people are able to learn. And it's because of the two wonderful coaches that support, the teaching as well. Joe Monty and Joe Devlin, they've been nothing but a first-class act and really experienced. So we have a whole team around them. I have a 60,000 square foot studio. So we're there, wardrobe, illusions, rehearsal space, music, everything's there to really support them. And the production value of the show is shot in Planet Hollywood on my stage in my theater. You're talking over 2,000 lights, over 500 million pixels of video. It's the most sophisticated theater in the world. So it really translates on CW to a production that you're going to see the most mind-blowing illusions, but it's a fun family show every Saturday night, 8, 7 Central on CW.
That's awesome, Criss. Final question for me on this topic. When I, talk to, high accomplished mixed martial artists who teach their craft to other, fighters or up and coming students, they always say that they tend to appreciate their craft more or learn even more about it. Is it the same with magic? Do you learn or appreciate your craft more by trying to help these celebrities understand it more?
Without a question, because, as somebody who's been doing magic since I was like 6 years old, I got into really heavily at 10, 11. So it's been a long 54 now. So it's been many years. And, I take for granted, like when I say to somebody, okay, just take the deck of cards and just fan them like this. And somebody doesn't even understand like how to manipulate them or have the dexterity to be able to do that. So it gives me a greater appreciation, for those things that we take for granted. It's kind of like, somebody say, yeah, just do a double, or do a single, like, like you've done it and you understand what that means. You feel a lot of pressure and you have to deliver. So it's all about really doing it at a pace that is that works for the person you're dealing with. Like Genuine couldn't hold his breath for 15 seconds, was scared of water. Wow. I was like, let's do something else. He's like, no, I want to do the show because I see you overcome your fears. Can you help me overcome my fear? And I noticed that was a common thread. Who would think like a Tara Lipinski would be scared of heights, didn't want to come off the ground,
right?
And she'd hang upside down and do a straitjacket. Or Genuine sold 10 million plus records, had a fear, couldn't hold his breath for more than 15 seconds. So for me, it was very interesting. Or Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle, was scared to do public speaking, and he's an actor.
Right.
So it really fascinates you and shows you that we're all human. We all have vulnerabilities. And it just, I think, is such a wonderful message for people at home to see the show and see in real time how people can overcome adversity and their challenges and become a better version of themselves, just like people do in the ring, whether they win or lose.
Awesome. Mindfreak is always going on pretty much. Is it 6 days or 6 days a
well,
week?
I do Wednesday through Sunday
at
Hollywood at 7:00.
Okay.
And we pretty much sell out every night. So if you want to come see Mindfreak, I'd love to have you there. You're going to have an amazing time, but get your tickets, order them now. You can go to ChrissAngel.com to do that. And definitely check out, obviously, World's so Magic with the Stars. My God,
you got so much going on, Criss. It's hard to keep straight.
I have done I don't know how many interviews today in a row, and I'm losing my mind. I think Frank hit me a little too hard in the head.
It'll happen when you hang out with someone like Frank Mir. Criss, appreciate the time. Best of luck with everything going forward, and I'm sure we'll be crossing paths again soon.
Next time you come out and you want to come see the show, reach out to my team and we'll set you up with tickets, and I'd love to meet you in person. And Danny, if you're watching this, what's up, my brother?
There you go, Criss. Appreciate the time, sir.
Thank you.